I was in this abusive relationship. I lost everything, basically. I was a single parent with 3 kids, homeless, and really rough times.
Makia and I were running from a domestic violence situation. I didn't really have a big support group. My family wasn't very supportive of what was going on. Running from one situation doesn't always fix the problem, and we wound up in another bad situation. And Makia was abused. And instead of me, it was Makia. And I took a huge risk, and I opened up and I shared what was going on. And they were so forgiving and so supportive. And they knew, even though what happened was not my fault, they knew that what I needed was their support, and they gave that to me when I had nobody else.
Coming out of an abusive relationship, I pretty much felt like I was at the end of my own road. I didn't know what to do with anything. My children's happiness was almost non-existent, and they were afraid to even sleep in their beds and not be right next to me all the time. That's not any way to live, you know what I mean? Children should be secure in knowing that somebody is there to take care of them. And at that time, I didn't even know if I could take care of them. So that's how I ended up at MountainStar, almost crying for help.
MountainStar Family Relief Nursery is a local nonprofit dedicated to preventing child abuse and child neglect. And our program works with families that are facing a lot of big issues, a lot of challenges in their life.
It's just been a huge blessing for my family and for my daughter.
When you reflect on children and their development into adults right here in this community, there is one indisputable fact, and that is you get it right, particularly between the time they're born and the age of 4, or we in our society will be playing catch-up ball for years and years to come.
Early childhood is a time when all the brain development grows, all of language, everything really takes off. And it's also a time when children are really vulnerable.
When children are exposed to traumatic events, things like child abuse and neglect, when they don't have, stable homes, when they don't have enough food, when they don't have, support from their caregivers, that this really sets them on a downward trajectory that really, in some cases, is really hard to reverse.
And that's why MountainStar is so incredibly important. And it's more important now than ever before.
We did a study that actually looked at not just the outcomes for relief nurseries, but the long-term cost savings. It was about 2,000 families that we looked at across the state. We found that for relief nursery families, there was a significant reduction in maltreatment rates. Before they entered the nursery, the rate was about 44 victims for every 1,000 children. And the rate after relief nurseries, after they started participating in services, went down to just 14 per 1,000. It's a 68% reduction in abuse and neglect from before they were enrolled to after they started participating.
Can I take your winner?
What we want to do at MountainStar is wrap a program around a family that's facing a lot of big challenges.
The average risk factors have increased every year. From when I started several years ago, the average was 12 risk factors, and now it's 17 risk factors. And I think that's because the economy has gotten so hard. There are less resources for families. There's a lot more stress on families.
Programs like MountainStar are really providing a comprehensive set of services that includes parent education, help with family stability, helping parents get employment, pursue their high school diplomas or higher education. They also provide children's services so that those kids who have been in unsafe and unstable homes can really get that sense of safety and security that they need.
The blessing for us was the structure and the stability and the security and having just something that was consistent in her life. I mean, if she didn't have that, I don't know how much damage we would still be dealing with everything that Nakia and I have gone through.
A parent who was raised in a family with inattentive caregivers may be a very natural, inattentive caregiver and think that that is how you raise a child. It isn't that they are making a choice to do it in a more dangerous way or in a less caring way. It is their own experience.
For a lot of us, we were raised to think that if we feel happy, that's selfish and it's not okay. And it's very important for MountainStar to be there for me because they've taught me that I'm very important to myself for my children, and that I'm not just there teaching somebody to be in society, that I'm there a part of society.
With MountainStar, I learned, okay, there's ways to discipline your kids, the time out, the take away the best, what they like about it. I didn't know that way. All I knew was the hard hand, you know. So I did that and started helping. My kids got mad at me, but it was okay because I would tell them at the end, I'm doing this because I love you. And now my kids understand.
What should I do? How do I help myself? How do I help my children? This is an awesome place to be able to find those answers.
In addition to reducing the negative things like child abuse and neglect, they also help to improve outcomes for things that we know really strengthen children and families. And one of the important ones is early school readiness for children. We look at things like parents reading to children. We know that's one of the benchmarks. If parents read to their children frequently before they start school, those kids tend to do better in school. And the relief nurseries help families improve and increase the amount that they're reading to children.
MountainStar got me reading to the kids.
Giving that kind of structure and building that structure in the home, that goes way beyond our involvement with the child at MountainStar. That can actually change the child's whole life.
Programs like MountainStar are doing exactly what we need for children and families by investing early, providing comprehensive quality services that save money down the road. So those are really the kind of programs that we need more of in our communities.
The situation MountainStar is in right now is there's a tremendous unmet need in our community. Over the last 2 years, we've seen our waiting list double. In the last year, we have seen the average number of risk factors increase from 12 to 17. At the same time, with what's happening with our local economy, fundraising is getting tough, and it's all coming together into a situation where MountainStar needs help. We have children in our community that are not getting the services they need. We know how to make a difference. We need community members to step up and support us.
It is so worth everybody's time, patience, money, anything that they can give to help this organization. More than anything else in the world, I can't think of a better place to give.
MountainStar has changed my daughter's life and has changed my life, and thus has changed our family for the better, and it's been a blessing that I don't take for granted, and I'm very grateful.
This world is going in a direction that we need to change, and we need more facilities like MountainStar to teach us that there is a different way to do things, and that we are safe and valued, and that one of the biggest things is that you're not going to MountainStar because you're a bad person. You're going to MountainStar because you're a good person and you want to help your family.
Relief nurseries were actually showing a return on investment within a 3-year period following enrollment, which is a relatively short window. You think about it as, an investment that you're getting on your money. If you get a 4-to-1 investment in 3 years, you're doing pretty good.